Namaskar. Uh, in today's class, we will be dealing with the poem, The Laburnum Top, Class 11 NCRT from the textbook Hornbill. Okay, now again the statutory warning. Before watching this video, please read the description box in full. Okay, and learn how to derive complete benefits out of this video. If you follow the steps that I have mentioned there is no reason why your teacher can, deduct your marks. Okay, so give me a moment to adjust my screen. Yes, this is the poem here right in front of us. And I am pasting it here. And yes, I'm sure you can see my screen. It's visible, the laburnum top. And let's begin this class. Before beginning the class, please keep your notebook and pen handy because you will have to take down notes. Number one. Number two, watch this video on normal speed. And three, the most important step. I have given important questions in the description box. Do attempt them, answer them, and get them evaluated from your teacher, tutor, anyone. Whoever you're studying from. Okay. With that, I begin this class. It says The Laburnum Top, written by Ted Hughes. And this poem was written by Ted Hughes in 1957. And he was a very prominent English poet and children's writer, and was known for his powerful and vivid use of language. Hughes, I have read many poems of his, and I find that he's inspired a lot by nature, and the laburnum top is one of them. Now, this poem actually has got a few lines which are actually controversial because I have seen many people interpreting those lines in different ways. I will be giving you the correct interpretation of that along with the reasons behind it. So do watch it, listen to it carefully, and understand that. Now, this poem appears to be a very simple poem. Absolutely no problems with this poem. It starts off when Hughes, he's actually describing a scene which he witnessed on a quiet, calm, sunny afternoon in the month of September. Okay, what he sees is a goldfinch flies and enters the thickness or the foliage of a laburnum tree. And the tree is absolutely silent. And the moment the goldfinch, enters the tree, all of a sudden it appears as if the tree has come to life. The poet is able to hear a lot of noise of chirping and everything made by birds. And the poet realizes that the goldfinch has her babies in the tree, hidden in the tree. So, on the face of it, it appears to the poet as if the tree has come to life. And then the goldfinch, after a few minutes, the goldfinch comes out, looks back once, probably at her babies, and then flies away. It's a very simple poem. But there is one thing when you read this poem. Why has the poet used a plethora of imagery in the poem? Why there is so vivid imagery in the poem? Why there are so many metaphors? Why, symbolism is present at every step? Now, this should give rise to a suspicion that is the poem actually that simple, or it has got a deeper hidden meaning in it. And once you read the poem in depth, you will understand that this poem is not about the goldfinch, it is not about the tree. It has got a deeper hidden meaning in it. Okay, so now let's begin this poem with uh, in depth, line by line explanation. Clear? Now, the first thing is, why is the poem named the Laburnum Top? The author, the poet could have very well called it as the Laburnum or the Laburnum tree. Why Laburnum Top? It is because the goldfinch is connected with the top part of the tree. It means her nest is there. And it is only the scene that has been described in this poem refers to only the top part of the tree and not the entire tree. That is the first reason. The second thing is, if you see that the laburnum top is a single word. Okay, I know, 3 words, the laburnum top. But no, it's considered as a single word. Why? The laburnum, the top of the laburnum tree. So the laburnum top. When a poem has a single word as its heading, understand that everything about it's going to be talking in depth only about that topic. A poem in question, as an example, is a photograph which you have studied. The poem revolves only around photograph, nothing else. No explanation, nothing. It's only about the photograph. So, this is an indication before reading a poem, look at the heading. Why has the poet given it that heading? So, I've given you the reason now. Now, let's begin this poem. 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. I was just adjusting AC. It says, the laburnum top is silent, quite still. In the afternoon yellow September sunlight, a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Simple, but see carefully now. The laburnum top is silent, quite still. Fine. In the afternoon yellow September sunlight. Now, if you will notice, the word afternoon is a time when the sun is at its peak. When the sun is at its peak, everything is yellow because of the sunlight. On that, the poet adds the word yellow also. Then he mentions the word September also because it's bright sunlight at that time. It's the month of autumn. Sunlight is bright because winter has not yet set in. The monsoon has passed. A few leaves yellowing. The leaves are also yellow in color. And which tree is it? Laburnum. Its flowers are yellow. So now you see, the tree is laburnum with yellow flowers. It is afternoon. It is yellow sunlight. It's yellow and it's full of sunlight. And the leaves are also yellow in color. A clear-cut case of imagery, visual imagery. You can immediately imagine the scene that everything is yellow everywhere. Now the question is, why has the author, the poet, chosen this yellow why is he highlighting this theme, yellow? Why is he trying to portray everything as yellow? Because here, the first thing is yellow is considered with paleness. Okay, the color green is associated with vitality, life. Here, he says that the atmosphere, the setting, the scene is pale, signifying death. Now, add to that the words silent and still. So you get a clear-cut picture, yellow, that is pale, silent, still. So it means the laburnum tree is not alive. It is in a dormant state. It is in a dormant state. There is no activity going on. Its leaves have also fallen. The leaves have fallen just because we know that it is, September, autumn, and the trees are preparing for winter. When they are in autumn, the trees shed their leaves. So the tree appears to be lifeless. All its seeds fallen. Now, this looks like a very simple phrase, all its seeds fallen. But this is a very important phrase. Why? It has got significant meaning. The Lebanon tree has dropped all its seeds. Okay, fine. And what Hughes is doing here is, Ted Hughes, the poet, Hughes is likely highlighting the idea of natural progress towards, the natural processes and the progression of life towards its next step. We can understand that because it is autumn and the next step, the trees are preparing for winter. So that means there is a movement going on. But then what do fallen seeds symbolize? Fallen seeds symbolize, number one, they have fallen from the tree dead, but they have life in them. They have the capability, they have the potential to begin another life. It also signifies that a new life is going to take place. Just as the seeds fall from the tree, what will happen is they will stay for some time there and slowly they will germinate, giving birth to a new tree. This process will continue. This laburnum tree would have also been formed by that process only. So this is a cycle. Birth, life, and life includes sustenance of life, and then death. Again, birth and life. So this is cyclical. It's a cycle. Questions have been asked. How is the laburnum top a cyclical poem? Then this is the answer. Okay. This could also represent that the tree no longer has its flowers because it is autumn. Flowers are there only in spring and right throughout summer. And the tree is now in a state of dormancy. It has lived its life and now it is dormant. This we can understand again by the first line, silent, still, yellow, the predominance of the color yellow. So this fallen seeds, you will have to write this answer. The cyclical nature, you will have to talk about this. You will have to talk about the beginning of a new life and this complete process of cycle, which I have just explained. Is it clear? Now let's move over to the poem. And now it says, the laburnum top is silent, quite still. In the afternoon yellow September sunlight, a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen, till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup. I'm not discussing the figures of speech right now. I'll be discussing that after this poem. Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. So all of a sudden, what happens is that this calm, this serene atmosphere, where the trees standing silent and quiet, all of a sudden, the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup. That means making a lot of noise, and there is a startlement at the branch end. That means she has landed at the end of the branch. Now the question is, why has she landed at the end of the branch and not somewhere in the middle of the tree? That we will understand further. Then, sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness. That means her coming was visible to everyone. But then what happens is she shifts her position from the end of the branch and sleekly, you must have seen lizards, they quickly dart across the wall or the ceiling so that they they try to go unnoticed. Why is she trying to go unnoticed? There's a reason behind it. And what's the reason? She has got her babies hidden there. So she doesn't want the predators to know that her nest is in this tree inside, hidden in the tree, in the thickness. Here, thickness means the foliage, the leaves and the branches and everything. So, visualize the scenario. Clear case of imagery. You can imagine the yellow goldfinch coming. Now, again, in the previous stanza, I spoke about everything being yellow, and now to add to it, the goldfinch comes, which is again yellow in color. See the predominant way the poet is writing. His predominant use of the color yellow, brightness all around, though it signifies paleness. Now, from here starts an interpretation which you will find a number of interpretations. And these lines are actually difficult to understand. You will have to understand these lines carefully. Now I will be discussing from she enters the thickness and a machine starts up of chitterings and a tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. The whole tree trembles and thrills. It is the engine of her family. The question here is, which machine? Now here this machine is a metaphor. Actually, you're not going to have a machine in the tree. No trees have machines in them. So it's a metaphor. It is referring to something. But the question is, what is this machine referring to? That is the question. We are going to analyze that. Now see, she enters the thickness and a machine starts up. But notice one thing. Notice one thing, that this line doesn't come to an end here. The figure of speech here is enjambment. This line is continuing into the next line. So that means you are not to pause at up, but you are supposed to read the entire thing. So, and a machine starts up of chitterings and a tremor of wings and trillings. And then there is an M dash. And M dash means explanation or result, or we put that colon, you can put a colon or you can put an M dash also. M dash means this long dash which I'm talking about. This, it's known as an M dash. It's I'll give you a story some other day. I mean, when I was an editor, not was, I'm still an editor for that matter. So this long dash is known as an M dash. No, there's a story behind it. So that habit doesn't go, Okay, so now, and a machine starts up of chitterings and a tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. So, what is the meaning of this line? Many people have interpreted this, oh, that the machine is the nest inside. No, it is not the nest inside. It is not the nest inside. This is a scenario which is unfolding in front of you. Pay close attention to these lines. Close attention. The moment the goldfinch enters the thickness, a machine of, now I'm rewriting this. The moment the goldfinch enters the thickness, a machine of chitterings and a tremor of wings and trillings starts up. This is how this line is to be read. This is how this line is to be read. So that means the meaning of this is that the moment the goldfinch entered the tree, it appeared as if a machine came to life. A machine started. And what did that machine do? What did that machine do? That machine shook the entire tree. That is why there is an M dash after that, and it says the whole tree trembles and thrills. So the meaning of this line here is that the machine which is being referred to, I'll come to that also, says that the goldfinch enters the thickness, and all of a sudden the whole tree starts trembling and thrilling as if a machine has suddenly started and shaking and trembling the tree. What is this machine which is shaking and trembling the tree? It is the engine of her family. It is the engine of her family. So, the baby goldfinches, the babies, they are creating the ruckus, the noise, and they are so loud that they are the source of it. They are, see, what an engine does is it runs a machine. What does the machine do? The machine works. So here, so in this poem, what the author wants to say is that her baby birds caused such a lot of chittering and the tremor of wings and trillings that the whole tree began shaking. That is the meaning here. So here the engine refers to the baby birds. Clear? So the moment the goldfinch entered, it appeared as if a machine started to shake the tree. And then the goldfinch explains this. The goldfinch explains this. I repeat this line. The moment the goldfinch entered the thickness, a machine started shaking and trembling the tree. And it was the engine of her family. So that machine was being run by the baby birds. Now, what is this machine? This machine, that the noise that they made, are referred to here as machine because their chitterings, their tremor of wings, and their trillings cause the tree to shake. So you can say in one sense that the sound and the actions made and done by the baby birds is being compared to a machine. So it becomes a metaphor because the word like or as, like and as, haven't been used. So this machine is a metaphor for chitterings, tremor of wings, and trillings. Now, who is causing this chittering and tremor of wings and trillings? This machine. Who is running this machine? This machine is being run by the engine of her family. And what is that engine? Those baby birds. That is why the poet in the next line, he says, she stokes it full. What is the meaning of the word stokes? Stoke means to re-energize, to revitalize, to put fuel into something, to make something, go up, raise its intensity. That is the meaning of stoke. So what is the meaning of stoke here? Here the meaning of stoke is that she fed the engine. Who is the engine? The baby birds. Again, metaphor. So understand the entire meaning now. The mother, goldfinch, fed her babies who were causing a lot of noise, so much so that the entire tree shook. I hope you get the meaning of this line now. Okay, if you still don't understand this, post it in the comments. I'll create a special video just to explain these lines with a lot of examples so that you can understand. Okay. She stokes it full. Now, let's go a little bit with grammar to explain it also. The sentence starts with she enters and the full stop comes at thrills. So you see, she enters to thrills is one complete sentence. And when you say it is a pronoun referring to a single one. Okay. So it refers to what? It is the engine of her family. Now, doesn't this line look like an explanation that, oh, the sound is being caused by the engine of my family? Looks like an explanation. So this is the explanation of the previous thing. She fills the engine, then flirts out to a branch end. Flirts out means not quickly, flirting around that way. She flirts out to a branch end. Again, the same thing she does, showing her barred face identity mask. Now, again, this phrase, her barred face identity mask. It's very difficult to interpret this phrase. What is the exact meaning of this phrase? Here, there is a pun also involved. There is a type of oxymoron also involved. Now, let's understand that. First, if you look at the picture, what you can do is you can just go to the net and take a look at the picture of the goldfinch. You see, its complete body is yellow, but it has got a black band around its eyes, like this, completely like this, around the eyes. Now, you must have seen many movies where, bad characters, they tie a band around their eyes to conceal their identity as to who they are. That is the one meaning of that band. Got it? Now you get. Now I'm giving you the context to understand these lines. Then it says barred. Now, what do you mean by the word barred? One bar means the iron bar that you have, which bars, normal bars. The other meaning of the word bar is to stop, verb, stop. Another meaning of the word bar is a flat structure like that also. Now, when you combine these two meanings, when you say her barred face, now you see two meanings come out. This is where pun is involved. Pun is a figure of speech where you can take out two meanings of the same word and both will fit equally well. Now, barred face. Barred face in the literal sense would mean the band around it. That is the meaning of barred face. Another meaning of barred face is, now take that as the cloth or the band or and whatever tied around the eyes to conceal the identity. So her barred face means her covered face where she is hiding her identity. That's also known as a barred face. A barred face means a covered face. Since figuratively she's got a band, so the face is barred. Purpose of it, I know it is nature, but no, in this sense, it means her covered face. She is using her covered face as her identity mask. Now look at the oxymoron here. Technically, it is not an oxymoron. An oxymoron is something where two opposite words come together. But here, the oxymoron is a sort of oxymoron is being created in imagery. It is being created in imagery. Your face is covered, barred, and you are using that as your identity mask. In other words, what you're trying to say is, hey, I will come with my face covered and identify that it is me. If I'm able to identify you because your face is covered, is that not a contradiction? Then why did you cover your face? So that I could identify you. And if your face is covered, how will I identify you? But what are you saying? You are saying that my covered face is my identity. My covered face is my identity. That is why she says, showing her barred face identity mask. To whom is she showing that? Actually, to her children. See the oxymoron here. So that, or whoever she is showing it to. So, what is her identity to her children? Hey, your mother has her face covered. She's got a barred face to mask her identity, and that is her identity. This is what the poet is saying. This is a very good example of play on words. That is why it is very difficult to understand this point. Her barred face identity mask. And then the word mask is being used. Again, mask is used to cover or hide your identity. Now, showing her face. Which face? Barred face identity mask. So, what is her identity mask? The mask from with which we can identify her is her barred face. What is the meaning of barred face? Covered face. So what is the the poet trying to say? That my covered face is my identity. If why do you cover your face? To hide your identity? And you say my covered face is my identity. That is the fun of this line. Okay. Now let's revisit this paragraph. Why I took up these lines first was just to give you the context. Now you can understand the stanza very clearly. Now, so the scene is, afternoon, all bright, right? Everything yellow, pale, till the goldfinch comes. Till the goldfinch comes, everything is quiet, dormant, with a twitching chirrup. Why the twitching chirrup? That's a signal to her babies. A suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. So what it means is that the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup and suddenly startles the atmosphere and lands at the end of the branch. Then trying to move in an unnoticed way, in an unnoticingly manner. What? She, alert and abrupt. She enters the thickness immediately, where the moment she enters, the entire tree begins trembling, shaking because of the chatterings and chitterings and trillings and tremors of wings. She says, oh, it's the engine of my family which is creating this noise. She feeds the engine, that means her babies, and then flirts out to the branch end. She has done her job, flirts out to the branch end, showing them her covered face, pun intended, covered face identity. See, I'm your mother. The moment I come, recognize me. And then, with eerie, delicate whistle chirrup whisperings, she launches away towards the infinite. God knows where. Now, here again, this eerie, delicate whistle chirrup whisperings. There is an oxymoron here also. What is the meaning of eerie? Eerie is something which frightens you, which causes which chills your spine, which causes the hair to stand at the back of your neck. That's neck. How can it be delicate? It cannot be delicate. It should be horrifying. But what does the author say? Then, with eerie, delicate, whistle chirrup whisperings, comparing it to whisperings, she launches away towards the infinite. Gone. And the laburnum subsides to empty. In other words, it comes back to the same state it was in before the goldfinch came. Yeah. Now, again, remember earlier, when I started the class, I said that it's a cyclical poem. The laburnum is silent, dormant, no activity. All of a sudden, A chittering start, the whole tree starts shaking and trembling. Again, it becomes dormant. Till when will it remain dormant? Till the goldfinch comes back again with food for her babies. And the same process, you see, if you read this last line, and the laburnum subsides to empty, and then ignore the first stanza, you can continue. And the laburnum subsides to empty till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup. You can read the entire thing. Again, come, and the laburnum subsides to empty till the goldfinch comes. You can continue this cycle throughout. That is why this is a cyclical poem. It's crystal clear now to you. Now, let us go and look at the important ones. Now here is, yeah, these are the slides which I prepared for you for taking down notes. The laburnum top, I forgot to even move this up. Now let's come to, yes, what is the symbolism of the goldfinch and the tree? Very important question. Very important question. Now, the goldfinch here in this case, the symbolism is that it is considered, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there are 6 points about the goldfinch itself. It's a catalyst for transformation. What do you mean by catalyst for transformation? When you say catalyst for transformation is that it has got the power to transform something. How do we know this, that it's got the power? The poem begins with the laburnum tree all of a sudden silence. And then when the goldfinch comes, all of a sudden the tree comes to life. Agreed that her babies, made the tree tremble. I do agree. But it was because of the goldfinch's presence, isn't it? So you can call the goldfinch as a catalyst for transformation. You can quote this line, trembles and thrills. This line, because this was caused by the goldfinch. Clear? So she is a catalyst for transformation. Then the second one is uh, vitality and energy. Yes, she is full of vitality and energy. Why? Because she is bringing life and energy to the laburnum tree. Her arrival transforms the dormant, the dead, the silent tree into a hub of activity and sound. And she doesn't come silently, she comes all twitching. Sorry, with not twitching, twitching chirp. And then sleek as a lizard and alert, and that line, she enters the thickness and it starts up. So she is able to infuse vitality and energy also. In other words, this also proves the point that she is a catalyst for transformation. She's full of vitality and energy because she comes, she does her work, quickly feeds her babies, flies away, again in search of food, and then the process continues. And so full of vitality and energy, you don't see laziness anywhere. Nurturing and care, yes, of course. It's very clear in the sentence, in the line that she stokes the engine in it full. What is the meaning of stoking? It means feeding, isn't it? So she shows what is nurturing and what is care. She's caring for her family, she's caring for her babies, she's caring for her well-being, she's caring even for their safety also. That is why she doesn't come and land directly at the nest. She comes to the end of a branch, and then she abruptly, sleekly as a lizard, she immediately goes in. So what does that show? She cares. It's not only the feeding part, it is also their safety from predators. Then transformation and renewal. This point is, I mean, you can say, is somewhat identical to being a catalyst for that also. But yes, she is a symbol of transformation itself, because the tree transforms on her arrival. It was lying dormant, silent and still, and all of a sudden it comes to life. Then this talks about the ephemeral nature of life. What do you mean by the ephemeral nature of life? Ephemeral means something which is not permanent. You see, the goldfinch coming, feeding, and flying away was a temporary thing. Was a temporary thing. It lasted only a few minutes, not permanent. The goldfinch doesn't live permanently there. Now, how am I connecting that is because the tree also comes to life not always, but only for short bursts of time. For short bursts of time, it comes to life. So it shows that life is not permanent. Nothing in life is permanent. Everything stays only for some time. That is why the word ephemeral has been used even in the poem A Photograph. In case in the exam you are asked to compare the two, a photograph and, this poem, the Laburnum Top, you can very well compare it because both have got one theme in common. And what is that? Ephemeral nature of life. There, her mother's childhood didn't last long. Slowly, even the mother vanished away. I mean, she died, but the seed didn't. But the seed didn't. It remained unchanged even for that time also. So everything was ephemeral. Nothing stays on permanently. What stays is nature. Even this is what is going to happen here. Today, the goldfinch is okay, fine, feeding her babies. A day will come when her babies will grow up and they will fly away. Out of the nest, and the tree will be left there. And one day the goldfinch will die, just like that. In Shirley Toulson's mother died one day, but the laburnum tree will remain. The laburnum tree will remain. See, why am I raising all these points is that you have to understand the central theme. This will not work in summaries. This will not work in summaries. It's very easy to, uh, it's very easy to watch a summary of 15, 20, 25 minutes and then think that you have understood the poem. That is not what they're looking for. It is just like, watching a 3 hour long movie in, say 15 minutes. For example, you haven't watched a movie and your friend comes and tells you the story of the movie. It's just like that. A 3 hour movie can be condensed into 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But then the nuances go missing. So this poem is very clearly connected to photograph because both have the ephemeral nature of life present here. Then the next point, connection and interdependence. Now, what is the connection and what is the interdependence here? Here the goldfinch symbolizes that she is dependent upon the tree. Now, this you have to understand this point also. This point you have to understand this. The bird is dependent on the bird and her family. The goldfinch and her babies are dependent upon the tree for shelter, for safety. Okay, for escaping all the rigors of nature. So they are dependent. And how is the tree dependent upon this little bird? What can this bird do to the tree? Now, the answer to this is metaphorical. You can say that the goldfinch and her babies are dependent upon the tree for their safety, for escaping the vagaries of nature and all the things. And the tree is dependent upon the babies of the goldfinch for coming to life. Had had the nest of the goldfinch not been in the tree would have been standing dead, dormant, year long, isn't it? So the metaphorical answer for this is that the babies give life to the tree. And how do they give life to the tree? By their chitterings and trillings and tremor of wings. And then what happens is the tree comes to life immediately and starts trembling and thrilling. This symbiosis, this interconnection is what the poet is trying to highlight. Getting the point? So they are dependent for safety and it's dependent. Bring me to life. Clear? So this is the symbolism of the goldfinch. Next, let's look at the symbolism of the tree, the laburnum tree. Now, this tree here, it represents potential and dormancy. Okay. Now, when I say potential and dormancy, what is the meaning of potential? Something that is hidden in you. It is being described as silent, quite still. That is the dormancy part, right? But what is the potential hidden in it? In spite of appearing to be dormant, in spite of appearing to be inactive, in spite of not doing anything, it has the potential to give birth to new trees. That is the significance of the fallen seeds, which I was talking about. So don't think that if a thing is dormant or if a thing is inactive, and the first line also says silent and still, it has got nothing, I mean, it's worthless. No, it isn't. It has the potential to begin a cycle of birth and death and everything. That is what is represented by the fallen seeds of the tree. Clear? It is just waiting to be activated or renewed. And who brings it out of its dormancy? It is the goldfinch. So, potential, fallen seeds, dormancy, the goldfinch. This again is, is the previous point which I was talking about, interconnectedness. Clear? Next. What is our next point? Our next point is life and growth. Yes, the laburnum tree stands for life and growth. How life? When the goldfinch arrives, the tree undergoes a dramatic transformation. The tree's reaction to the goldfinch's presence. What is the reaction? It trembles. See the word the poet has used, trembling and thrilling. These are not words of sadness, these are words of joy. These are words of joy. So that's the tree's reaction. And this symbolizes the onset of life and growth. This symbolizes the onset of life and growth. The tree comes to life with the bird's activity. And it reflects the idea that life and growth are interdependent. They are interdependent. The goldfinch energizes the tree. So the hidden meaning here is that external forces can catalyze change and rejuvenate you, bring you back to life. Again, this shows interconnectedness with nature. I told you Ted Hughes writes a lot about nature. Okay, next, interconnectedness and symbiosis. We have again been talking about this. So it's very simple. This I've discussed. Now this point, again, I don't need to speak a lot on this, because what holds good for the goldfinch on this point holds good even for the tree. That I'm giving you shelter, you are giving me life, that interconnectedness is there. We don't have to discuss this much. Okay, and then comes the cyclical nature of life, which again I have explained how the entire thing. So now you can understand this. These, if they ask you a question that write about the goldfinch, the symbolism of goldfinch, then these are the points. The symbolism of the laburnum tree, these are the points you have to write. What do they symbolize? Now comes the central theme. Again, you see the central theme of the poem is what I have been discussing so far: transformation and renewal. It is the same thing. This is the central theme also. Okay. Transformation of the laburnum tree, going from dormant to life and back to dormancy. And then again, renewal, fallen seeds. It is the same point. That portion will come here. Then the next one is interconnectedness of life. This again I have spoken about. The goldfinch is dependent upon the tree, and the tree is dependent upon the goldfinch, right? And then comes the third point, ephemeral nature of life. This again I have discussed. Ephemeral, you can go back and rewind and watch that portion also. And then the fourth is the cyclic nature of life. I have even discussed this also, why this is a complete cycle. Got it? Now there is one more question here. There is one more question here which is normally asked, and that is, analyze the poem's tone. Why? Because in this poem, the tone varies from stanza to stanza. If you look at the first stanza, now let's look at the first stanza. What is the tone? Remember, I was using the word pale, yellow, death, silent, still, leaves fallen, leaves yellowing, seeds fallen. The tone is very quiet, it's very reflective, not a happy one. Doesn't present a good sight. This scenario will not evoke happiness in you. But all of a sudden, what happens? Till the goldfinch comes. Now look at the change of words and the change of tone. What is this now doing? In this stanza, you will find, look, just take a look at the verbs. What do they say? Trembles, thrills, engine, chitterings, tremors, flirts. All positive words. All of a sudden, the tone of the passage changes. It immediately moves from reflective mode to vibrancy, to excitement, to energy, to life. This is the second stanza. And then in the later lines where you say, she goes as sleek as a lizard, flirting, Now, playfulness is also there here. There is a lightness also here involved in this stanza, completely lively. And then what happens? From here to here, it's completely lively. And then slowly the tone again changes. Now see the word eerie comes in. The word whispering comes in. The word infinite comes in. Slowly the tone again. Here, the tone abruptly changes from the first to the second stanza. The change is abrupt. 1 second it is quiet and reflective. The next second, till the goldfinch comes, and then the thing starts. Then it slowly subsides. That is why the word subsides has been used in the last line. And the laburnum subsides to empty. Subsides means to come to an end slowly and gradually, in one sense. I'm not talking about the exact literal sense. You could have said that the laburnum returns to empty. But why it subside? Gradually. But the goldfinch being a catalyst of change, the moment she appears on the scene changes in a jiffy. But now her absence slowly brings the tree back. That is the difference here. So this is how the tone keeps shifting. This is how the tone is shifting throughout the poem. Stanza to stanza, line to line. Clear? Okay, now we are into the poetic devices. Let us take a look at the poetic devices. Let's see how many we can find. The laburnum top is silent, quiet, and still. Do you want me to? Yeah. The laburnum top is silent, quiet, still. Alliteration, you can see clearly. Silent and still. Alliteration is there. There is assonance also here. Is, sigh, quiet, still. That I sound is predominant in the first line. The I sound is predominant in the first line. And personification is there. The laburnum top is silent. That means you're treating it like a human being, isn't it? So personification is there. You have three figures of speech here. Now let us go into the next one. In the afternoon, yellow September light. Imagery. You can clearly see imagery here. September, sunlight. Again, you have got alliteration. And now here the symbolism begins. Symbolism. What is this line actually talking about? This line is talking about the dormancy part and the silence part, the death-like part, and all that I was talking about. And then a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Again, symbolism is there. I explained it to you in great detail. What is the meaning of why the leaves falling? I mean, why it has, been written, why the seeds have fallen, why the trees are, yellowing. And there is even consonants also here. Notice consonants and assonance, the vowel sound is repeated. In consonants, the consonant sound is repeated. A few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. Sir, 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 the sound of sir, sir, S is a consonant. So that is there. Then comes till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup. Chirrup straight away, onomatopoeia. It is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, I have explained, that is where you create a sound itself as the, as a word. There is no such word as chirrup. Just because the bird sounds like chirrup, we have created a word chirrup. There is no such word. Then you can even see here any other figure of speech. Yes, imagery is present, no doubts about it. There is imagery also here, and then you have even alliteration also, in one sense, I wouldn't go that till twitching. बहुत दूर है. But anyway, okay, fine. If you get this question, you can even take pitching also. But I sound is predominant. The vowels I is predominant till pinch with twi ching chi. The e is too much. That is assonance. That is assonance. Okay, you have to be aware of all of these. And then comes the next line, which says that a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. Yes, of course, alliteration is there clearly. Imagery to chali rahi hai. Imagery is visible very clearly. And then you can see even a repetition also, no? A suddenness, a startlement, a branch end. Same way, you are repeating a throughout. It's not because of an article, but because of the figure of speech. Then then sleek as a lizard, simile, very clearly. Alert, abrupt, alliteration, very clear. You can see that also. And then you have uh, even repetition is there, and that repetition is also present. Imagery, then she enters the thickness and a machine starts up. Now this is very clearly a metaphor. I told you that the machine here is a metaphor for the wings and the chippings and all that sound. And you can even look at you can even find alliteration also here. You have tremor, you have trillings. Okay, you can even get that also. And then even there is assonance also, you see, of chitterings and a tremor of wings, and so awe is again coming in. That figure of speech is also there. Then look at the next line. The whole tree trembles and thrills. Alliteration is very clearly visible. Trembles, a tree trembles, thrills. Personification is there. Personification. The tree is trembling and thrilling. Okay, tremble in one sense, you'll say, yeah, trees can move, but tremble to nahi hota. Okay, thrills. How can a tree thrill? Human-like qualities. So personification. And you see again, then you have trembles and thrills as that is a consonance that is also present here. You can see that clearly. It is the engine of her family. Metaphor, engine, which is referring to her family. I explained this also when I was explaining it in detail. And you can even see assonance also. It, e, is, e, engine, e, family, again E sound is present. So assonance is also there. And then comes the next line. She stokes it full, then flirts out to a branch end. She stokes it full, and then yeah, to a branch end. So here you can very clearly see a metaphor. She stokes it, engine. Okay, alliteration is very clearly visible. She, no, not she. Okay, you can say no. So sorry. There is there any alliteration? She stokes it full, then flirts out. I don't think I would take. Oh, of course. Yeah, you've got F. Full, flirt, alliteration. Yes, clearly mentioned. And then you have consonants is also there. Uh, uh, you can take a look. It, flirt, the t sound out to ta is being that the ta sound is coming out to be too much. So that is consonants, that is also present. And then showing her bald face, identity mask. This we have dealt with in enough detail. It is a metaphor, it is an imagery. If you want to get real good marks, try. But if you're not very sure of the word, how oxymoron is used, then don't go for it, because technically it isn't an oxymoron. That is why I said to you that in oxymoron, two contradicting words are used together. Here, the words barred face and identity masks are not contradicting each other. So, technically, an oxymoron is not created, but the image being created here is that of an oxymoron. So I'm not calling this an oxymoron. No, this is not technically not an oxymoron, but of course, imagery is there. You can imagine the barred face and identity mask. That image comes to your mind. Metaphor is, of course, there, referring to her face with all these words. And then comes the next line, then with eerie, delicate whistle, chirrup, whisperings. Yes, you have imagery here, you can imagine the sound, and then you have assonance here, which is very clear, with eerie, delicate, नहीं delicate में तो नहीं ई आ रहा, with में तो ई eerie ई डेली, हाँ डेली में आ रहा है ई, yes, okay, whistle, little bit, chirrup, whisperings, I sound, I mean little bit. Yes, you can call that assonance. It's clearly visible. Alliteration is there, whistle and whisperings, that is visible. Then you have again onomatopoeia is there, chirrup, that is also visible. And then comes she launches away. She launches away. Launches clearly is a metaphor. Okay, she is not a, when you say launches away, you basically wants to say that she leaves like a missile. Here the word launch is to take off, to go off. So she launches away, launch is a metaphor very clearly towards the infinite. Here the word infinite is again, you can call it symbolism, because it is symbolizing freedom, it is symbolizing endless opportunities, it is symbolizing not being answerable to anyone. It because it's not informing anyone where she's going, freedom and everything. So here launches towards the infinite means launches, I mean goes towards the unknown, infinity, where God alone knows. So one sense, yes, symbolism can be there, but if you're not very sure, don't attempt this part. And the laburnum subsides to empty. Clear-cut personification. How can the laburnum subside to empty? Empty personification is there. Okay, so with that, we end this class. Do answer the questions and get them evaluated. Okay, your teacher, tutor, anyone, whoever. Don't forget this step. And if you have any doubts, contact me in the comments. You will surely get a reply. Don't worry about it. And God bless you.